I tried to put the cam in, but it really didn't want to go in, and it really didn't want to turn. And I tested the cam bearings after I put them in, and cam turned very smoothly. It was a different cam than this. But so I took the cam out to see what was going on, and it appears what's going on, now that indicator's in tenths, so it looks a little exaggerated, but I think the problem is it's bent tooth thou. So I think I'll find a straighter cam and we'll resume this project. So this is the cam I used to check the cam bearings. I mic'd the journals, and they're the same as the cam that won't go in. But when you try to turn it, you can see that it's straight within, I don't know, 2 or 3 tenths, So I think that's the problem. I guess I should let you folks decide if we should use this cam. The other one was a bullet. This is a comp. Six thousandths. I doubt I'm man enough to stick that in there. I think I better keep looking. Okay, I think I finally found something we could use. It's only about 3 tenths out, and I imagine all of them are that way. So I'm happy. I'll stick it in there. I'm not having very good luck with camshafts this week. I thought I finally found a good one. This one was straight within a few tenths. So I thought I'll just use this one. I've had it on the shelf for 10 years. I just never had an application. Well, I tried to put it in, and of course, it won't go in. I know it's straight. I know the block's fine because I've already put 2 other cams in it. They're just not the profile I wanted. And this one won't go in. I can't figure out why. Well, I measured the journals. And every journal is exactly 1/1000ths too big. Well, no wonder it won't go in. So I figured comp was going to squawk when I called them. And sure enough, I called them, and after 30 minutes on hold, somebody comes on, and I tell them my story. I told them it's a brand new cam. Just because I haven't used it, it's in the wrapper, it's a brand new cam. And told him it was a thou over on every journal. He said, well, you've had that too long. There's nothing we can do about it. So, by the way, just yesterday I was watching a big long video on YouTube about the quality control at comp cams. I mean, I don't really think it's their fault. Stuff happens and things don't get made right, especially when you're dealing with computer-operated machinery, and it got them off 1 thou. What can I say? It's not a big deal, but, how you respond that is kind of a big deal. So, I've got one more cam. I'll try that one. You're going to find this hard to believe, but cam number 4 actually fit, and it turns, and everything's wonderful. So now we're going to do our lifter rotational check. We're trying to do everything we can to make these cams that aren't any good last. They anytime a cam goes flat in the first day, they tell you it's all your fault because you didn't break it in. Right. As if any cams were broken in the 60s or 70s or 80s. But so I've got all the lifters in. I've got a black magic marker at 12 o'clock. We're going to turn the cam and we're going to make sure that they're all rotating properly. This video would work better if I had a cylinder head on here with some valve checking springs and rockers and push rods. Then have a little down pressure on there to hold it against the cam. We'll probably have a little problem, but we'll work. You can't put a head on this block, and I'll tell you about that later. But let's give it a shot. See how it goes. Here's one that's sticking. But if the magic markers are turning, all of these are turning. Oh, this one's turning. That one's just got a little bit of, it's trying to turn, but it you can see it's over here now, but that one's over there. So we're all turning. You just have to, when you don't, you need a little pressure on it to make this show up better for you. But everything's turning good, so we have no complaints. When it goes flat, the cam people still tell us it's all our fault, though. As I was saying a few minutes ago, that rotational test would be better if you had a head on here with some valve checking springs on it, and then some rockers and some push rods, and that'll hold some pressure down on the cam and let the lifter turn against the cam. So I made up this head for the demo, but unfortunately this head won't go on. And you're thinking to yourself, why won't this head go on? You think I'm just nuts, but it went in on this end, and that's all it hits the dowel holes fine, but the dowel holes are actually too wide. And you think that maybe the head was machined wrong and not the block. But Mom Mopar over here, she actually knows where the dowel pins are supposed to be, and so when you try to put it on a street Hemi block, golly, it fits like the other 11,000 blocks, and everything's wonderful. So you thought that was a freak instance, and maybe I could use some different heads and everything would be fine. All right, that sounds like a good plan to me. So I got a new stage 5 head. And I tried to put that on. And the same thing happens. It doesn't go. You can get one dowel on, but it doesn't go on. No, it doesn't go on. But if you go over to Mom Mopar's block, everything goes together kind of like they know where to put the dowel pin holes, right? And these are 256 or 246, as you know, not the 250s. So you thought, well, that's just a freak accident. So here's the new KB head. And we know that KB knows where to put them too. And it'll go on here. But it won't go on this one, of course, because nothing will go on this one. But funny thing, it goes on here. Strange, isn't it? So I'm trying to figure out what's really going on here. I don't have any, there's no good way to measure that. You know, this is all I have, and measuring over long distances is not easy. But you can get a measurement. I did the outside first. It appears to be wider than my Mopar's block. I did the inside next, and it appears to be wider than my Mopar's. And I've got a lot of my Mopar's blocks around here, but so I don't know what to tell you. I wish I knew the spec on this so I kind of know. I thought I had Ken Black's cell phone number, but I don't. He would know. Somebody would know. I'm guessing from the measurements it's going to be too wide. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I did say something about this wasn't going to be easy, right? It might be a while before I can get another video out. I really don't know what I'm going to do about this. Okay, so I laid down for a day to try to calm down and figure out what to do about this situation. We do need to be able to put heads on the block. The first thing we need to know is what the problem is. We're going to have some measurements. So the first thing I did was replace these dowel pins because they had some wear on them, and we need a perfectly smooth surface to get a measurement on. I do have a Starrett number 123 that we can use to take our measurements. These are supposed to be accurate within a thousandths, and that'll tell us where we're at. It's very difficult to get a measurement on a long area like this. One problem, but we've got a great area. It's nice and flat, nothing in our way. Now on the inside measurement, you know, if you don't get it straight, you'll have, what is that, cosine error? But on the inside measurement, we have these nice little hooks here, so that's going to be pretty easy. So you just hook that, bring it out, and make sure that you're not whoppage-jawed. You know, you want this parallel with the deck surface, and you can get the inside measurement. Then when you take the outside measurement, you want to hold it. It's got to be the same on each side. Easiest thing to do is like hold it at the base of the dowel pin and get your measurements. So that worked out pretty good. By the way, I found a place where I can buy a 245 reamer to ream out these holes where you can drive a dowel pin in without having a 16-pound sledge. So I won't have this problem again. I can ream them to the proper size. If I was a nice person, I guess I would send a reamer up to the people that machine these blocks, but they would probably just think I'm an idiot. So here's our measurements. It looks like the Mopar is 6 thousandths wider than the Callies. So what are we going to do about that? All I know to do, so we're being held up. I said 6 thousandths. That's 4 thousandths. We're being, and by the way, the measurements we're within a thou because the dowels are 246 times 2, 492, and the Mopar measurements were within a thou, and the Callies measurements were within a thou. So we got a good measurement, but that's a nice area to get a good measurement on. So what I'm thinking is, this is too narrow by a few thou. So it appears to me that I'm going to have to file off this side of the dowel, and hopefully after I do that, a head will go on here. So in the next episode, maybe you'll see this block with heads on it.